It never fails. Every time that I decide that I'm going to go live, Windows decides to just shit all over my parade. But you know what? We're just going to have to get this started. Let's cue the music. It's almost like I need a do-over because that was the crappiest start I've ever had on this podcast. And that was it. You guys just heard it. It was horrible. This is episode 94. And if you don't know, whenever we go live, you can join me at Spreaker.com. Just look for UFO Buster Radio. And you can actually chat live in our chat box. And you can also listen to it live on UFOBusterRadio.com. Because there is a Spreaker app on there that you can also listen, and I believe you can chat there also. So let's just get all of the business out of the way, right? Let's get to the stuff that we need to tell people because we are live right now. So number one, I just told you, if you want to join me live, get on Spreaker.com. We're going to try to do this at least once a week to have a live episode. That way we can interact. You can send questions. You can chat up the chat box, you can talk the shit, walk the walk, and you can just poop on the Moonraker and my ideas, whatever they may be at the time. However, we got other business to take care of first, right? We got to talk about how to follow me on social media. Now, I've been having a lot of people say they don't like social media. It's too much. It's too invasive. It's in my business. You don't want people freaking checking out my shit on the internet. Well, guess what? Don't post your shit on there. Just follow me. That's all you got to do. Don't post your shit. Don't post your naked pictures. Nobody wants to see it anyway. Just follow the Moonraker at UFO Buster Radio. On Facebook, you can follow the pages, Manny Moonraker and UFO Buster Radio. You can go to Instagram if you like the pictures and follow me at Manny Moonraker. And on Twitter, you can follow me at UFO Buster Radio. I enjoy interacting with you guys, and there's one person right now in the chat box, Zachariah, who I came across Zachariah. I think we started on Twitter, and then we ended up on also following each other activities on Instagram. Zachariah, welcome aboard. Great guy, by the way. So here is episode 94, and we're live. And I've got I got a couple of announcements that I want to announce. And first of all, the main one is the fact that Big O couldn't make it. Big O is probably sitting somewhere in some semi-truck right now in North Dakota. If anybody out there from North Dakota, look for Big O. He's out there somewhere. And he sadly could not do it. Now it's cold as fuck out there, and he couldn't get his shriveled nuts up here to the podcast. So what can I say? I tried. But, you know, for old time's sake, we can play a little bit of Big O's, demo from back in the day. Let me just cue it. Here we go.
Big O, it's showtime!
All right, that's all you're going to get a Big O. Sorry. Right now, his testicles are probably in his abdomen and 20 below zero weather, so it sucks. But we're here. You're here with the Moonraker, so let's talk the talk. Let's talk about some things that happened recently. So I posted all over social media, and this is why you should follow me, because you get the news before it even gets on the podcast. You get to hear some of the craziness that I see. The other day I woke up. Now, the Moonraker gets up early. I don't sleep. I want to avoid probing at all costs. So I try to stay awake to avoid any kind of activity that I do not approve of, right? I'm sure you guys don't approve of it either. Probing is not a good thing. But I woke up and I received a message. And the message was from a website called Blog.FeedSpot.com. And apparently what they do is that they go around and do, those the top 30 in this, or the top 60 in that, or top 100. So they do like this whole, ranking thing. They did one recently, the top 60 UFO YouTube channels about unidentified flying objects. Yours truly and this podcast ended up on that list. And I was amazed. I was shocked. I felt like in my head, I could hear Honey Boo Boo. Honey Boo Boo just came to my head. You know, it's like, you better recognize, honey child. That's what came to my head. I don't know why. I don't know why she came to my head, but it was perfect at that point. Now, we're not number one, but we made the top 60. In that list, you have people like Tyler Locknerd from Security Team 10. You have the Hawaiian boys from Third Phase of Moon. But you also have people that have been on this podcast as well. UFO Bros was on there. And so was UFO Proof. Remember Kyle? For real, Kyle. So yes, we made that list and we are here. And we're going to make our little podcast known to everyone else because the fact is, we don't take no shit. We don't like rubber dickers, and we're not going to keep quiet. Now, I had to look into what exactly was it that got UFO Buster Radio on the top 60 list for these YouTube channels. And here's the criteria. Number 1, total YouTube channel subscribers, video views, and video uploads. Well, I got news for Blog.FeedSpot. We're fucked in that category because we don't got the big numbers. Especially when you look at Tyler Locknerd, and he's got like over 1 million subscribers. Jeez Louise, this is crazy. The other thing is quality and consistency of videos. Yeah, it's mostly audio, but we have a cute little picture up there of the logo or the episode image. So go figure. I tried. The other thing is YouTube search rankings. Now, I have no idea what the hell the search ranking is for UFO Buster Radio, but you know, I'm sure that in the last month, if you put anything regarding UFOs, the Pentagon, Tic Tacs, rubber dicking, whatever it is, you're gonna come across this podcast, I'm sure. And the last bit of criteria that was used, it was FeedSpot's editorial team, objective and subjective review. Somebody at this website loves the fuck out of this podcast because we were in there with some heavy hitters and a lot of rubber dickers, but we still made it through unscathed. Now, we weren't at the bottom of the list, so that's another good thing. I'm grateful for that. I've got the link to that top 60. Check it out. You can check out the other 59 rubber dickers. Well, maybe not 59 rubber. There's probably like about 50 rubber dickers on there. But check them out and check out the list, and you know, they might have other things that you can actually see. So we actually have someone else in the chat room. Apocalypse says, "You guys ready to secure your spot in heaven with me?" Sorry, Apocalypse, but this podcast is going straight to hell. Just to let you know. Anyway, that was the fascinating news that I got in there. Now, there is something else going on YouTube, which you guys may or may not know about yet. There is a channel that's called Conflict Radio Official. Now, Conflict Radio, what they do is that they gather some of the best podcasts and put it, it's almost like a radio format because you play it and it goes through one episode to another. We have other folks on there, for example, like Coast to Coast. UFO Buster Radio is in that mix as well. So we are in the rotation for Conflict Radio, and they do paranormal podcasts, things to do with UFOs, and they even have a second Conflict Radio channel, which deals mainly with like ghosts and things like that. But check them out. That link is also in the description. They've been putting our podcasts up there, putting up our episodes. We've been getting good feedback. But YouTube, you get negative feedback too, because there's a lot of fuckers on there who like to rubber dick and just give negative feedback just because they feel like it. But that's something to check out. And again, we're thankful for all of them and everyone that has been contributing to the podcast and staying in touch and things like that. Apocalypse says, fair enough. The podcast is going to hell. He's good. Thumbs up. Now, like I said earlier, if you want to come on here live like Zachariah and Apocalypse, you can just join the podcast when it's on live on Spreaker.com or at UFOBusterRadio.com, and you can be part of the conversation like these guys have. If you're not able to, you'll listen it on the replay. You'll listen to it. You get that back. But you can still contact the Moonraker. Maybe leave a message for Big O if you want to talk about things that were covered on the podcast, like Conflict Radio, or even this top 60 listing. One of those. You can do that through social media, like I mentioned earlier, or you can email me at manny@ufobusterradio.com. Now, here's the other thing that I wanted to mention, because, it's kind of important. It's important that we get the discussion of ufology out of the hands of the rubber dickers. And here's an example of something, because I've been talking about UBR Truth Seekers on Facebook. That's a Facebook group where you can go in and talk to shit and stuff like that. Well, here's the deal. We had a new member that came on. Her name is Susan, and she came on during the time that we've been talking about Nicky Pope. Pope, not Poke. He probably pokes around a lot, but Nick Pope. We know him as the ex-MOD guy who's been taking the United States by storm, publishing all kind of books, talking all kind of shit about ufology. Meanwhile, what we know about him is that he really doesn't give two fucks about really trying to prove that UFOs really exist. And we also know that, many people think he's all about disinformation and not about the real UFO story. Well, at least the one that we want to hear, regardless. But he is about selling books. And so Susan posted, it's a video on YouTube, and the title of the video is Nick Pope Exposed and Debunked. It is a 4-minute video, and it's almost kind of like a PowerPoint presentation with music. You're not going to see J.J. Abrams talking about Nick Pope. You're not going to see Steven Spielberg showing E.T. rubber dicking Nick Pope. None of that's going to happen in this video. What it is, it's going to show you some facts. It'll show you some pictures of him on certain broadcasts and things like that. But again, it brings the question, why is it that Nick Pope is so popular? Why is he so popular if he seems to always want to give us the negative side of ufology? Now, granted, he himself has said that he really didn't find anything of interest when it came to UFOs and things like that when he worked for the MOD out in the UK. So, what can we do? Oh, hold on a second. Newsflash. It turns out that... Zachariah. It turns out that Susan is related to Zachariah. This is a family affair. What the heck? What's going on here? Well, tell her thank you. That was an entertaining YouTube video. It was fascinating. So I put it in the link. You guys can check it out. It's 4 minutes of your time. Waste a little bit of time. Take your phone with you when you go sit on the throne and throw on the video. I'm sure it'll probably take you more than 4 minutes to get your business done. So you can check out the video, see what they say about old Nicky Pope, and we'll see what we do. I think that there's an issue with Nick Pope. The video even talks about how at one point, I guess he tried to say he was kind of almost like an anti-terrorist expert. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you go from the MOD looking at UFO reports to moving to the United States and selling a bunch of books, going on conferences, and then all of a sudden you want to tackle terrorism. I don't get it. But now, in his latest venture, he's going to tackle the whole Pentagon Tic Tac video, what it means for you and I who are fascinated by this subject. And basically, he's going to break it down Gundam style, the way that only Nick Pope can do it, right? I don't know. We'll see what that conference is. I mean, if I had a conference together, I think that I would want someone like Elizondo on there. Oh, heck, I'll even take freaking Tom DeLonge. Put his ass on there. You're not going to get a $50 worth of him talking because he gets really tied up and stuff. And sometimes you don't know what the hell he's saying. But at least you have Tom DeLonge there, Blink-182 band boy, that's going to bring in a lot of people. So, I mean, come on, for real. I don't think Nick Pope is really going to do this topic any justice, but, shit happens. You get what you pay for, people. That's just what you got to go with. You get what you pay for. So we had another post by the one and only Ronny Dawson. But before we go over that, listen, I got to say one thing, because I totally forgot. If you look in the description, you can actually contact us during the live show by either calling 972-290-1329, or you can actually add UFO Buster Radio through Skype. For those of you who live all the way 4.2 far, Australia, England, if you live in Hokusaki, Japan, if you live anywhere else but the United States, Canada, that's another place, right? Somewhere towards the north. Anywhere but the United States. You don't want to pay the fees of, having to be calling long distance. You can reach us through Skype. Now, this is going to be a little different. The Skype ID is at BossCrawler, all one word, BossCrawler. And even if you don't reach this live show, go ahead and add it on. You can leave us messages there too, voicemails. If you want to prank call and do some heavy breathing, that's fine. Big O might enjoy it. He might get off on that. Or if you want to leave him a message, every time he comes on here, he seems to get all these ladies contacting him. But unfortunately, ladies, right now he is experiencing a bit of a cold snap, and all his junk is by his kidneys. But besides that, let's just get back to the thing of it, because recently we had a launch by SpaceX, and Ronny Dawson posted an article inside of UBR Truth Seekers. And I was not on top of this. I was not really into this whole SpaceX nonsense. I couldn't put it together. And thanks to Ronny, because Ronny said, "You idiot, look at this update." So the update that Ronny posted to that article was the fact that the Tesla car that was shot, on top of that Falcon Heavy, it actually overshot. They didn't shoot it in the right trajectory, and it's not going where they thought it was going to go. Number one, everybody fucks up. This was a fuck up. So it's headed towards some kind of asteroid belt. So sorry. It's a nice looking roadster, and it might not even survive. But my thing with this is why are you doing this? It didn't make any sense to me why you would even shoot this thing out into space just for shits and giggles. It just made no sense. So I had to do some digging. So the first thing I found was that Elon himself came out and said that the car itself is just symbolic. He just wants a fucking car in space just because he thought it was cool. He probably sat around thinking about when he was running around with his diapers on, playing with toy cars and making the zoom sound flying through the air. That's why he did it. He just wanted the car in space because he thought it would be cool. But the other thing is that they wanted to test whether or not the Falcon Heavy rockets could actually handle a nice payload. So why not shoot the thing into space? And by the way, these booster rockets were supposed to come back and land, two on terra firma and one on one of those freaking barges in the middle of the ocean. I never heard if that actually worked. He was having some problem with that stuff. I just don't know. But here's the other thing that I was kind of wondering about. So why do it? So he says he's got to test it. The other thing is, and there's a quote for him on several articles, it says this: "I love the thought of a car drifting apparently endlessly through space and perhaps being discovered by an alien race millions of years in the future. And that's a statement he made in December. I don't think this thing's going to last millions of years. Somehow somebody fucked up where this thing was going. And it turns out that thanks to the brilliant minds at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL for short, they got their hands on the data from SpaceX. And what they're saying is that the roadster will probably end up closer to the sun than Mars. And the farthest it's going to go is 250 million kilometers from the sun. So it might get as far as Mars, but it's not really going to get to Mars. So they're saying that it'll reach that point sometime in November, but that September 2019, it will complete its first full loop around the sun, and it will continue to do this loop, this orbit around the sun, and it'll last a total of 19 months. Fantastic. So, not entirely a success for Elon. He got his little roadster into space. Congratulations. Thank you for playing. But he did just as well as some of the fuckers in Russia who sometimes do the same shit, and a lot of other smaller countries that like to go into space and throw a bunch of junk out there. But now we have fancy junk. We have an electric car that has no power and is just chilling in space. I really thought that when I saw the Starman, so the Starman is wearing one of the spacesuits designed by the Musk team. I really thought that that spacesuit would be taking in readings. You know, wouldn't that make sense? Am I the only one that doesn't have the mentality of a rubber dicker? Do I need to get on Team Musk? Does Elon need me? I would think that you would attach a bunch of shit to Starman to see if that fucking useless looking suit would actually protect people. You know, when does it fail? How long does it last in space? Shit like that. But that didn't happen. Apparently, this was just a show of, I don't know, having big bucks. Basically, putting your rockets in space, shooting it into the middle of nowhere, and hoping for the best because he thought this thing would just keep on endlessly forever. But if you got the money, why not waste it on stuff like this, right? It was a good test. The damn thing went up. It did what it's supposed to do, except head in the right direction. It's a start no matter what. So I think what we're going to do at the moment is we might have a service announcement that we have to do. So bear with me.
Excuse me. I'm looking for Manny Moonraker. I understand you're looking for either a flying disc, cigar-class shit. Now, are you looking new or used? I have both. I also have the long cigar or stogie shave, with and without air conditioning. In the sleep chambers, sleep 6 to 18, depending on the body size of your friends. I also have a medical disc and a starship, depending on your credit range. Call me, Sepsis Work, on your interstellar stellar, 111-419-771-2119-62387. I'll be waiting.
So Sepsis Quark, I want to say this. A Sepsis Quark actually comes from the great minds of the Dave in the Morning Show, also on Spreaker. If you want to listen to those guys, they are on at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. A great group of guys that do that show. You should check them out. I would have the link in the description, but I didn't have room. There's a lot of shit on there right now. But anyway, Dave in the Morning, check them out. Search, go to Spreaker. It's cool. So we're kind of reaching the end of the 30 minutes. We actually were able to do two 30-minute shows. We're only at 24 and a half, but bear with me. I got other stuff to talk about, I'm sure. One of the things that came to mind today, and it had to do with this whole top 60 list. And so this is kind of like a PSA. So bear with me. Don't throw any stones at me. Don't dislike me. But it's important. We have things like a top 60 list. And hold on one moment, because we have a caller. Thank you for calling UFO Buster Radio. Who do I have on the line?
Hey there, man. This old Zachariah.
Hey, Zachariah. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Doing good. I figured I'd just give a call. My podcaster, my Wi-Fi was cutting in and out there, so I was losing you in and out. So I figured I'd just give this old telephone number since you mentioned it. Figured I'd give it a shot and give a shout out to you.
Hey, well, listen, welcome aboard. So that was your wife, Susan, who was in UBR Truth Seekers. Yes. It's kind of like a shared account there that we kind of Facebook a little bit with. Well, that is fantastic. So she was kind of looking up what the deal was with old Nick Pope, huh? Yes, sir. That she was. And I was at work, so she had mentioned it to me. So she shot me the YouTube video there, and I gave it a watch. So, Zachariah, since you're on here now, you kind of have to give us what your opinion is of Nick Pope and the things that people say about him. Dad, I hadn't heard much of him, just a little bit here and there. And until you really started talking to it, I had the curiosity to check it out. And I've got to do my research a little bit on him. So that was one of the big things that I was wanting to, hear you talk more about on what's going on with this guy. So that way I could actually form an opinion, see if this guy's a rubber dicker or if the guy's, straightforward and is the real deal or not. Yeah, I gotta love that. You said rubber dicker. It's like a household word now. That it is. So, well, here's an interesting fact. One of the first people that I ever either read or listened to when it came to ufology was actually Nick Pope. All right. Yeah, and so it's kind of evolved ever since way back when. That was about maybe like 9 or 10 years ago. It's kind of evolved because the guy, he's no longer in the UK. He lives here in the United States now. But it seems like he's really all about making money, selling books and things like that. So, when you hear things about people being disinformation people, especially someone who seems to always argue against things like UFOs and alien visitation and all that kind of stuff, it kind of makes you wonder if he really is that kind of guy. Right. So, in other words, this could be where old Tom DeLonge got his training from, pretty much. Well, yeah, I don't. If he's in it for the money, he's giving us this teasing stuff. Is he in it for the money, or is he actually wanting to put stuff out there? And that's a good question. Yeah, it seems all these guys are in it for the money, huh? That's a good impression that one can get, definitely, for sure. Right. So we will. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see where To the Star. That's Scarry Mirror, right? We have to see where To the Star Academy ends up, because apparently there's stuff that's leaking now that some of the other Pentagon videos are going to be coming out soon. So we'll have to see. And I think that's definitely what a lot of us are waiting for. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be important. Yes, you can't just give us this little video and think that well, honestly, I can't say think, because a lot of people gave millions of dollars to the Stars Academy, but you can't. I guess you can't get any more money until you show and improve. Tell us what's really out there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go there. I just wanted to give a quick call in there and say howdy. Well, thank you for calling, Zachariah, and follow me on social media. And by the way, I like all the pictures you post. They're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You have a good evening. All right, and you too, and I enjoy the show. Keep up the good work there. Thank you very much. All right, later on. Later. So there you go, folks. Rubber dicker is a household word. I can't, I can't take all the credit for that, but definitely get the word out. If you see a rubber dicker, just call it for what it is. If you're a rubber dicker, you're a rubber dicker. You're a rubber dicker. I can't help it. Just live up to it. Stop rubber dicking. We're tired of it. So let me get back to my PSA. So in doing this top 60 list, I came to the conclusion that the only way that we're going to get through this ufology thing and not be railroaded by the rich-ass fuckers who are keeping all the information for themselves is to help people not be afraid of sharing what they know, what they experienced. How do you do that? It's simple. Hashtag no fucks given. The truth is that when you tell your story, there's always going to be someone that's going to snicker at you. There's always going to be someone that's going to, poke fun at you or whatever. But I want you to think about it in this way. That same asshole who's poking fun at you because you saw a UFO or you felt that you had an experience would probably have that same reaction if you said that you were dying or you had lung cancer or that you broke your leg or you broke a finger. Those people are who they are. They're negative people who want to bring you down, regardless of what it is you're talking about. You have to embrace the no fucks given attitude. You have an experience, you have a story that you need to tell. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are bursting at the seams because they want to tell their story. They want to share what they experienced, but they're afraid. No matter what it is, whether it is a UFO story, whether you lost some money, whether you got divorced, or you remarried, you married a young wife, you married an old wife. Some idiot, some rubber dicker is going to have something to say. You shouldn't give two fucks about their opinion or anything else. Instead, you should get your story out, get it to places that want to hear it, that will get the word out, and maybe educate people that this has got to do about something. We're not making these things up. These reports are not made up. People are not just, well, okay, some of them are. All right, you caught me. You caught me. There are hoaxers out there. But there's a lot of good people who see these things, who take pictures, who take videos, and they're being deterred by assholes. Don't give any fucks. Not one, not two, not three. Get your story out. Contact UFO Buster Radio. Contact UFO Brothers. Hell, if you really need to, freaking contact Tyler Locknerd. If you need to get your story out, trust me, if it sounds good, that fucker will put it up there. He doesn't care. And he's got a shitload of people that will listen to it. He's got the platform. UFO Proof has the platform. Third phase of Moon. We're in the top 60. Great. Some people have more followers than others. But those people can get your story out. Don't be afraid to tell it. Share it with everyone. Get the word out. Don't let people like Bigelow and Tom the Short and the rest of the rich rubber dickers who just want to keep this information to make themselves rich. Don't let them take that power from you. And above all, keep the rubber dickers at bay. For the love of Pete, those guys are freaking idiots. This is episode 94. It's coming to an end. 33 minutes. I did it live. I gotta say one more thing though. My computer really shows me every time that I'm going to go live the legacy of Bill Gates and rubber dicking all of us with his stupid fucking Windows operating system. Bill Gates, you're an idiot. This Windows system is a joke, and I hate it. With that, I'm about to get the hell out of here because I'm sure this thing's about to blow up on me. I'll catch you next week. 2 episodes, 30 minutes. Follow me on social media. You guys are awesome. It's going to be a good year for UFO Buster Radio, and we're going to get crazy. So from Big O, who's probably having his nuts on some kind of heater right now, to everyone else that came on, Zachariah, thank you. This is Manny Moonraker, and I am checking the hell out of here before this computer dies. Ciao.